This is what I'm going to present today, ICT tools for the English classroom. And my initial intention was to present these three tools and to explain a little bit how they can be used. But I think I'm going to do something else. And I'm going to explain Chat GPT and what to do with it in the classroom. I'm going to also explain Powtoon, but instead of Twine, I'm going to tell you about other tools more focused on writing. Twine is a tool to create interactive stories to read. But I have found there are others which are, I think, easier to be used. So I'm going to present a few tools to work on reading. And then if I have time, I'm going to present something else. Okay, but I don't know whether I'm going to have time. So number one, why should you use ICT in class? Well, first, I think because of its linguistic benefits. You provide the students with authentic input and authentic task, and also you give them more exposure to real language. You also give them a sense of audience, that is, they are creating things for other people and not only for you and not only for their mates. And also, I think that using online tools such as dictionaries, correction tools, things which are integrated in Word, provide some scaffolding and support, which I suppose you have already heard a lot about. Then they also contribute to competence development. They contribute to the development of literacy, especially to the new form of literacy, which is multimodal literacy. Also, they contribute to cultural and awareness and expression, because like by presenting authentic language and how authentic language is used, you can work on cultural awareness, and that is one of the competencies which are part of the key competencies from the European Commission, which are also in the Spanish curriculum. Also, you can work on digital competence. And finally, you work on personal, social, and learning competence, because most of the things I'm going to tell you to do, or things you can do, are to be done collaboratively and in groups. Then, other benefits which I have found are using ICT increases motivation. Also gives the students a sense of competition. It promotes, encourages, supports team spirit. So you create a team spirit in the class, and also lowers anxiety when students produce language, which I think is a very important thing. Now, there are some risks to using ICT. And mainly what teachers are sort of afraid of is the thing that they are distracted. And also, it's quite time consuming creating material. What I'm going to propose to you is to give students things to do using ICT, because I think that is the key to them not being distracted. That is, instead of you talking or you doing things, have students do things. So today, I'm going to present for sure, I'm going to explain to you how to use, somehow, what is Chat GPT. And I'm going to show to you how to use it also with two programs, which are My Simple Show and Quizzes, which I don't know whether you know anything about, but we're going to see those. Then I'm going to tell you how to use, or I'm going to give you an example of Powtoon and explain a little bit how it works. And then finally, I'm going to present Rewardify, which I don't know if you know of, but it's quite an interesting tool. And then I'm going to show you two web pages to create comics, and a little bit, I don't know whether I'm going to show you Twine or I'm going to show you another one which I have found, another program which does the same. And if I have time, I'm going to present a little bit of Genially. Okay, so let's start with ChatGPT. Well, the first thing I use ChatGPT for, and you should use ChatGPT for, is to create lesson plans, to create activities, grammar explanations, vocabulary and grammar exercises. However, it cannot be used for videos or audios. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how that works. So let me see. So you open, this is ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you how to create activities. Okay, so for example, here you open an account. Here is very easy to open an account. And imagine you want to do, you go there and you say, prepare a lesson on means of transport level B2. Okay. And that's your lesson. So you have the introduction, as you can see, 5 minutes. So begin the lesson by telling the students, begin the lesson by asking students about their preferred means of transport, discuss the importance, vocabulary building here. You have introduced and discussed vocabulary related to means of transport, such as public transport, private transport, etc. Use visuals, examples to make the vocabulary more engaging. Types of transport, present a list of various means of transport, discuss each type, comparing means of transport, role play activity, environmental impact discussion, conclusion and reflection, homework assignment, and assessment. And as simple as doing that. So that is for the first thing I told you, activities. The same goes for grammar explanations. So you say, explain how to use a, I don't know, present perfect. And you go there, and that's, you have all the explanation. And now after that, you say create activities to work with means of transport and present perfect. And there you will have the explanation here. And then here you have the activities. Activity 1, guess the experience. Activity 2, travel diary presentation. Means of transport interview. And here you can do, if you want more, exercises, means of transport, and present perfect. Okay, so you have here, fill in the gaps. And then if you want something more specific, you can say, I want multiple choice. Here you see. So the only thing you need to do is to be really specific And then the program will create whatever you want there. So something else you can do, and I'm going to see if I'm able to swap from this to the other one. Okay, so you have here, I have written here, explore and compare here different types of explore and compare different types of writing for selectividad. And I'm going to explain 2 sessions. I have created 2 sessions to do that with ChatGPT. Another activity could be learn how to write a story for a B2 exam. Asking ChatGPT for examples and analysis, which I'm going to show you how to do. Also, you can do transforms exercises, transforming sentences, that is telling the computer to create a sentence. The students have to transform using blah, blah, blah. You can also use it to write a summary, and you can also use it, and I'm going to show you how to do this, to write a summary, to improve writings for clarity, conciseness, style. And also, what you can use it for is for you to correct the writings of students, which I think is a very good tool for, and I'm going to show you why in a moment. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now in the program, because I want you to see the results, is what happens when you tell the program to write a summary, what happens when you tell the program to improve a writing for clarity, for conciseness, for style, to see a little bit what it does. And then I'm going to show you what to write there in the program so that it corrects writings and it provides suggestions for improvements. Okay, so I'm going to show you that in the program itself. So first thing I'm going to do is to write a summary. Okay, so imagine you have a text. I have a text here, which I'm going to copy. Okay, so you get 3 paragraphs. And this one is really simple. So you go there and you tell the program, summarize this. And then you copy there whatever you want. And okay. So as you can see, I have written here 3 paragraphs. And then it gives me a really brief summary. The provided test discusses various studies on students' perspectives regarding written corrective feedback in language learning. The key findings from these studies include, and then I'm going to get that summary. Now, if you want that summary to be shorter, you can say, I want a shorter summary. And then the program provides you a shorter summary. There you have it. It's a summary of what you have like told the program to summarize. Now, something really interesting for me is, like, imagine you have a student's work, which is not going to be the case here. Okay, so I'm going to now tell the program, improve this for clarity. So you go there, you paste whatever you've got here, and you send it. And then, as you can see, it gives you sort of a better version. It's complicated to see it if you haven't done it yourselves. Okay, because like obviously you don't really know the original one and you don't know the one that the computer has provided. But in a minute, I'm going to allow you to try it to see. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we are going to be able to do this because you need to create an account and that might be complicated. But I suggest that you try it. Now, the other thing I told you was finally to correct writings. Now, to correct writings, what we do, and now it's a pity because I haven't got any, let me see, I haven't got anyone which is not very, which is not good. That is, okay, I'm going to do it with this one. I have here 2 paragraphs. And then I'm going to tell the computer to correct this text, or improve. I'm going to say to improve this text. Improve this text. Do not correct what is correct and provide suggestions for improvements. Okay, so I'm going to send that text there. Now, okay, and for me, probably this is really good. I don't know why. I have the impression I'm going to start a new one because I think it's doing everything again. So again, correct. Improve this text. Do not correct what is correct and provide suggestions for improvements. Okay, I think this is going to be okay. As you can see here, it's not correcting anything because the text itself was quite correct, but probably it's going to give us some suggestions, hopefully, but it's not. No. Okay, what it's done is just probably because I haven't done provide, let me see. I think too many things at the same time. Okay, there you are. Yes. Okay, so this is what you get when you tell the program to correct your students' work. It's going to provide you with suggestions. Obviously, it hasn't provided, let's do this again, provide suggestions, because it has provided in general for improvement in this text. And then I'm going to copy the text again. See if now it works. Okay, as you can see here, what it offers you are some very general suggestions, but that's because in this case, the text I had, as you can see, was quite good already. Okay, but I assure you that if you do this with students, it's going to be quite different. So we've got first. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is arrange pairs or groups of not more than 4 students. 4 students is going to be the maximum. Then you have to ask them to search for 2 different story types. So a story type can be horror, can be action, romance, thrillers, whichever. You choose 2 different text types, both of them narratives. And then you tell all the groups, you tell half of the groups to do one type of test and half of the groups to do the other type of test. And what they have to do is they have to analyze the structure of the test. So they have to go into ChatGPT. They have to ask ChatGPT for different text of the type they want. So they write there, give me 2 examples of a horror story, or give me 2 examples of a romance story, a thriller, whatever. And then what they have to do, they have to also introduce the maximum number of words they want. So they have to tell the computer they want a story which is like 250 words, for example. With that, they have to analyze 2 or 3 stories of that type, and they have to decide in their pairs or groups the structure of the story and what that structure includes. That is, in the introduction, you have to include this, and that. In the core of the story, or the middle part, you have to include that, and that. And then in the final part, you have to include that part, that, and that. It has to have 4 parts, whatever. Then once they have finished, you give them like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to do that. And then you move the pairs. That is, you rearrange the pairs into groups of 4 or 5. And those 4 people have to decide on the structure. That is, they talk to each other, they decide whether that structure, the structure they arrange or they agreed on in their former groups, is okay or not. And they have to they have to finish with a structure. That structure, with that, you rearrange the groups again, but in this case, you mix people from one of the story types and people from the other story type. And then they have to compare each type of story and decide whether there are different things or everything is exactly the same. And then finally, what you do with the whole class is to create a model. So you tell them, with this model, you create all horror stories have to follow this structure. All thrillers have to follow that structure. So that's the first day. Then the following day, when they come to class again, what you do is you set students, again in pairs or in threesomes, and what they do with the same stories is to explore language, that is adjectives, the kind of adjectives, adverbs, set expressions, and find synonyms. Okay, again, they do a new search in ChatGPT. So this is all the time interacting with ChatGPT, looking for, analyze the adjectives, or how many adjectives are there. And the computer is going to tell you how many adjectives there are, how many adverbs there are, everything. Then what they have to do after they analyze all sort of the language, they have to write their own story collaboratively. That is in pairs or in threes. they write a story. With that story, they introduce it into ChatGPT, and they tell ChatGPT, correct what is wrong, number one. And then number two, provide suggestions. And what they have to do is they have to decide which of the corrections to accept and which ones they do not want to accept. And they have to hand in the story, the final story, after all the corrections, number one. And then number two, they have to hand in a justification of all the changes they have done from the first version to the second one and why they have done those changes. So that will be 2 lessons using ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how a ChatGPT is used in two different programs. Now, there are many programs where you have already artificial intelligence included to create activities, to do different things. I'm going to show you two, and I'm going to show you how that works. And I have created an activity in one of them, which we are all going to do afterwards. And then you will tell me whether you like it or not, the activity. So the first activity I'm going to show you is my simple show. Okay, that's the program. My simple show. And now, do you know this program? Anybody knows this program? Okay, so this program, what it does basically is it creates not animations, but you give the program words, and it transforms the words into speech. This is one of the text to speech technologies, and also images. So you're going to see how that is done. Now, before, the only possibilities for this in this program were you could upload PowerPoints or you could create your own story. Now, if you click here on create a new video, you now have let artificial intelligence write your story. And that's the one I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the results so that you can see or you get an idea of what this program does. Okay, so if you click there, I'm going to write here, I already created this, but never mind. How to be an excellent teacher. Because that is for you, your topic should be that one, okay? So I'm going to create it. You will see how easy it is, really is good. Okay, so here you've got a really small, that one. Okay, so you have, nothing, because that's not, don't show that again. Okay, so let's create your story. I'm going to create a story which is going to be a definition. Okay, how to be an excellent teacher. So describe your topic is in 3 to 5 words. So how to be an excellent teacher. So I'm going to generate the story. Okay, so here, as I have already introduced before, I did that. I went into ChatGPT and I said, what is an excellent teacher? And I copied there the characteristics. So I copied them into this program. So as you can see here, key characteristics are display patience, blah, blah. So it has created that. And then you click here in visualize. And then you go here to simple show classic. Okay. And then here it gives you images. So you select the ones you want. Okay, you can select everything here. You can add more. You can edit the text. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to do anything because I'm going to show you just what it does without doing many things. Okay, but you can modify everything if you want. Okay, you can add here more scenes. You can edit everything as I told you before, and you can even discard that. And then I'm going to play the resulting video, if that works.
To be engaged, understand the material, and
Yes.
perform better academically. Additionally, teachers gain a sense of accomplishment and professional growth. Related concepts include pedagogy, the art of teaching, and educational psychology, which helps teachers understand how students learn. Mastery of these concepts contributes to the overall effectiveness of an excellent teacher.
Okay, so as you can see, this is quite, I think it's fancy, and I think students really like it because it's a very good way of getting students engaged, and they can hear the text they have produced. So afterwards, you can tell them, do that, listen to the production, share it with other people, and then what you need to do with that is to record yourselves doing the presentation. You know, once they have listened to how everything is pronounced, they can do it. So that's one of my ideas. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the other one, and I think so. I'm going to show you the other one, and in that one, which is Quizzes, I don't know if you know about that program. Quizzes is a program to create quizzes, a sort of different test, and it's similar to Kahoot, which everybody knows and everybody's using now Kahoot, but this one has the advantage that each student is doing their own instead of being sort of public and everybody seeing what other people are doing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I have created one, and then we are going to play one which I have created automatically for phrasal verbs. Okay, so on this one, yes, this is my library. Okay, I don't know. Can you see it? Yes, I can see it here. Okay, so here, this is Quizzes. Now, if you click here on create for Quizzes, you see here you have two options. The first option is you can create one quiz with artificial intelligence, or you can create a lesson. Also, you can upload Google Slides or you can upload Google Forms. This is very useful, Quizzes, because you can create, you'll see, I'm going to show you because I think this is worth it. Okay, so you can create one from scratch, that is from nothing. You can create a quizzes based on a test which you upload. You can create one also with a document, PDF or doc, and very, very good. You can create one for YouTube videos. You can upload a video and the program will create questions for that video automatically. I mean, it's very good that you create the questions, but one day if you want to use something and you want to do something really quickly, you can do it automatically. Okay, so I have used this first one, not there, here. Okay, and then you have here, I can create my own questions. Obviously, if I go here, you can do this and you create your question and the answers. Okay, that's the typical, the like the one you're going to create probably the most. But I'm going to show you that you can also create automatically with here. You can create it automatically from with a generated from IE, which I did before. Okay, so you can here write, for example, what I have done, I wrote down there, create a test with phrasal verbs with on, up, down, papa. And then you tell the computer, I'm going to show you, create a quiz or a test with phrasal verbs with, I think it was on, off, up, and down. Down. Okay, I have to select here the grade. So I think I did 12. A number of questions, I decided it was 8. Then you click here. You can select whether you want to identify phrasal verbs, to use phrasal verbs in context, match phrasal verbs with their meaning, complete sentences with phrasal verbs, create sentences using phrasal verbs, or identify the particle in phrasal verbs. So you can select which type of questions you want the program to create. Okay, I have selected identifying the correct one. And I think completing sentences, or I don't remember which one I selected, but one of those. And I'm going to show you the results. Okay, and we are going to play these quizzes and see how you do. I think it's quite simple anyway. I thought it was going to be more complicated. Very good. Yeah, okay. I don't know whether you know this program or not, but also after you finished, apart from doing these quizzes in class, which I think is quite engaging and is good to review at the beginning of the class or at the end, whenever you want, you can also you can assign them as homework also. So you can create that quiz and give it for homework to students so they can do it for the following day. And then you can review here. You get like a summary of everything that's been done. So you have here the questions, and then you can go over the questions and see which ones were the questions where the students had more mistakes. So maybe you can review only those parts of whatever you have been teaching them. Okay. And I had lots more things prepared, but it's 8 o'clock and I was told that was it. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to review. I will send this presentation to Gloria.
Okay.
Because there are more things in the presentation, like programs to create comics, which probably are going to be quite successful for students. There is another program, the Rewardify, that I'm going to show you in 1 second, because this is something quite unknown and is very, very useful for students, which is this program. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a program that what it does is I have included here a text written by a student. And then if you click here, Rewardify text, what the program does is it gives you that text with all the words that the program considers that are difficult, highlighted in yellow. And then if you go over that word highlighted in yellow, you get the pronunciation of that word. You get a simpler word for that one so that the students can understand that one. And then you get here watch, notice, blah, blah. Here, complex difficulty, you get the word here. So you can save and learn that word. It transforms the words into simpler words. So here you have very seldom instead of almost never, ahead, you have beforehand. So you have synonyms and the pronunciation of the word. And I think that's quite useful. Okay, so as I said, I will send the presentation so you can have a look at the other things I prepared. And in case you want to use them, they're quite easy. They're quite intuitive, most of them.